friends, and welcome back to Lemon Tree Corner. This week in the studio we are making another bag in the year of bags. So we're almost done with the year of bags, so I'm going to be very selective about the ones I pick out to make through the end of the year. We still have a few bags that I haven't made and some wallets that I would like to experiment with for our product line. So we're at the very end of research and development. I have a very, I already have a very good idea of what bags that I want to make for the shop in the future. We've done some craft fairs, so I know what bags people are attracted to and which ones sell better. So by next year we will have a great idea of what we'll be making. And we are officially in spooky season, so I've got my black shirt on and my earrings. I don't know if you can see the earrings. My spooky skeleton earrings. So very excited for Halloween. One of my favorite fall's my favorite time of year, but Halloween going into Thanksgiving, and I just enjoy all the stuff, all the cozy stuff. So this week in the studio we will be making the let me talk about this first. So this is our Wonder cardigan, and it's blocked and ready to finish. So it's stretched out a lot, so that's good. It's a lot bigger than it was before. It's relaxed a lot, I should say. So we're going to seam up the sides here to make some sleeves, and then we've got a few rounds to go on the cuffs, and then we'll be done with this and I can wear it to work, and it's nice and cozy, so that's good. So let's take a look at our bag for the week. This week we will be making the Clydebank Tote from So Sweetness. I really love this bag. It's a really cute shape. I've made two in the past, and the only thing I don't like is these beautiful unique handles look great on paper. They're very hard to do in person. So they're very difficult to sew. They're very tight. So turning the fabric out, and it's like a very complicated way to make these handles. So one of her viewers, made a hack, which is a very good hack. So they've modified the handles. So the handle goes up here, hooks into an O-ring, hooks into a circle ring, and then you have the rest of the strap. So way easier to make that way, and that's the way I like doing them. So we've got this really cool kind of Parisian inspired, this keeps falling out, this Parisian inspired fabric, very springy. And then we've got some periwinkle fabric with these beautiful gold stars. Now I looked for a gold zipper, and I don't have a zip. I don't have a pink zipper with a gold, with a metallic gold. So we're going to use the silver, which is on the inside anyway. There's like a big main zipper and then a zipper pocket on the inside. So it will be right next to this, but it'll be in the interior, so you won't notice it as much. So we're doing these two. And then for the sides and the bottom of the bag, we will be doing cork. So this is cork with little blue metallic bits in it. I don't know if you can see the metallic bits, but that's what we're going to be doing for the inside. And if any of this sounds interesting to you, please hit the subscribe button and come along on the journey with us. For the rest of you, welcome back. Go ahead and grab a cozy beverage and let's make this bag. Okay, so here we have our main panels with the foam, and we had to do something a little different in here. Because we're using the cork, I can't iron on the cork, and so I can't get the adhesive to stick to the cork, and I can't iron from the back side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm still going to put the iron side up here so it doesn't accidentally stick to anything else. And then we are going to stitch around all the way around all of these sides. So we're basically going to baste it on. That seam will get incorporated into the bag anyway, into the seam of the bag. So we don't have to worry about that. So let's go sew these on. Okay, so here you can see why I like ironing it on instead of sewing it on. So it got slightly wonky. I didn't catch this part in the seam. So just not my favorite method. It's a little easier with cork, I find, with fabric, that when I try and baste this on, there's like gaps. There's gaps, it doesn't lay flat. She has some ideas for that, or tips for that in her videos, but I just find that the iron-on works so much better for me. So what I do for the iron-on is I do a layer of SF101 first, and then I attach the foam, because the foam can make it very wrinkly and bunchy, especially after you birth the bag. And it's hard to come back from that, but I find that if I have the SF101 in between, it's adhered to the fabric doesn't move around as much, and then if I just hit it with the iron or steam it a little bit, that foam comes back to regular shape instead of being all crinkly. So that's what I do for that. Okay, so let's take a look at all of our pieces. We've got that, the inside pocket, we've got our side pieces and our bottom, we've got the lining side pieces and bottom. Now we're going to put a piece of Peltex on this, just like we did for that other bag we did a few weeks ago. And then the lining main panels, our little zipper tab, our straps, and this is going to be our recess zipper. So these are going to be on either side of our recess zipper. So we are all ready to get started. I feel like everything's really loud today, so I hope you're not hearing what I'm hearing. Okay, so we are doing this pocket a little differently. I hate doing pockets this way. I really like doing pockets where the opening, where the bottom is not an opening, where the bottom is folded, because I feel like those are more stable. I have a note in this pattern to do the pocket the way she has written, because this is one of the patterns where we're actually going to open, or we're going to birth the bag through the bottom here. So that's why it's important for us to have the pocket opening in the bottom, because when we sew we're not going to sew the bottom shut yet. We're going to leave the bottom open, we're going to birth the bag, then we're going to sew the bottom of the pocket. So okay, I need a little brush up on the zipper panels and the way she does them. So I am going to watch this part of her video and come back. So I'm always very hesitant or wary of these things, but what we have here in her video, she goes over some very specific ways to do this, which I really like. So basically we're going to fold this in by 1/2 inch, press, fold this in 1/2 inch, press, fold this in 1/4 inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw these lines with a non-erasable. So we're going to draw 1/2 inch, and then we're going to press over to that 1/2 inch, and that'll give us 1/4. Ah, just broke the lead. Okay, so it's kind of an interesting way to do this, because here you have the opportunity to get it right, because I don't normally get these right. One thing she suggests is pressing this one and then just hand folding this one over. So once we have this one pressed, we're just going to hand fold that one under to match up, which I think is so smart. So that's what we're going to do for that. And then that way it lines up better. So I'm in control by doing it that way. If I was to press them both separately and just pray that they line up, they never line up. So I think that looks a lot cleaner than they normally do. I still don't like this way of doing it. I still wish that I could make kind of like one big long zipper tab sandwich, you know, like for the whole length of it, and have like a clean edge here instead of two pieces of fabric. And I might figure that out for myself on the next recess zipper, because I don't like doing it this way. It bothers me. So this is weird. Instead of just tapering from 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch, we have to taper back to 1/4 inch at the bottom, because that's where we're attaching the bottom piece. That's extra complicated, because now that we've attached the whole thing, we've got the two panels together, and we don't want the two panels together. I mean, we don't want to sew over both the panels. So we're supposed to center this and pin it down, and then take it over to the sewing machine. Now you all know why I feel the way I feel about recessed zippers. Not my favorite thing in the world. So I've got a pin through only one layer here. And this is the easy side, because after we're done with this, we have to sew it to the other side, which gets even more complicated. So now what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to turn this whole thing around, and we're going to have to somehow put this under the machine as a big giant tube and only sew down on this side. So that'll be fun. And at this point, we're going to unzip the zipper just to make our lives a little bit easier. So basically, I have to move this tube out of the way and sew this down. So why don't I take you with me, and we can enjoy this fun experience together and laugh at Heather. I guess technically we could have done this side the other direction, but what's the point when we're going to have to do this in a minute the other way anyway. So I'm going to line that up. I'm going to sew right along the stitching I already did. Since this is the underside and I don't have much of that thread left, I'm going to do this in a light gray. It's going to blend in. Wasn't too painful. I just feel like there's easier ways to do that. I mean, we could have made this whole recessed zipper section this much skinnier, and we could have sewn it on before the bag was together. So that was interesting. Okay, now we have to finish the bag. The only reason she doesn't have us sew the bottom on first is because of the crazy handles. We want to make sure our zipper is open, or at least open enough. And then I think I'm going to go this way, since it's easier for me to have the lining on the inside. So, like I just said, the whole reason that we are doing it this way without the bottom is so that we can do these funky tops first. So, we are going to be aligning all of these guys together. Let me lift you up a little bit further. This one is really high up. There we go. If the camera doesn't fall over. Okay, so we are going to take our handles and put like a million clips in here. Okay, so the Piggies have been a big hit, and I haven't even hit the craft fair yet. So, in anticipation of selling all the Piggies, I have ordered more fabric. So this is the same designer, Lori Holt, that did the fabric, the Farmy fabric that I just made the Piggies with. So, I got another one of her fat quarter bundles, just because I like the Farmy fabric for the Piggies. I like her fabric anyway, so even if I don't make Piggies out of all of this, I will use it in some capacity. Kind of a weird way that they packaged it here. And I really just think these little kind of calico old-fashioned prints work really well with the Piggies, the size of the Piggies. So very pretty. I don't know why we bundled it like this. But we've got some nice, I didn't have any purples in the last bunch, so we have some purples and some greens, and then I'll have to order some more zippers to go with all of these. But very, very cool. I think these are going to be nice, and then some nice yellows in there as well. So kind of the whole rainbow this time for the Piggies. Alrighty, so yeah, Mom said, girl, you better make some more Piggies before Christmas. So I'm gonna try, actually, I forgot about that. So I'm gonna try and make some more Piggies before Christmas, so we have them in the shop for Christmas. So stay tuned for that. I've got the long Thanksgiving weekend. I've also got Veterans Day weekend that I can work on this. So hopefully after Thanksgiving weekend I can have these in the shop for Christmas. Okay, so here comes yet another difficult part. We're going to sew the bottom on. This is one of the reasons why we have the opening in the pocket, is because we're going to sew the bottom on the lining the same way. So we're going to tilt it up, which means you're not really going to see anything. Let me move you back here. Let's change your angle here. That might work better. So we're just going to sew up to 1/4 of an inch into the corners here. And a smart way to do that is for me to actually mark it here. Well, you can kind of see the stitching already. I'm just going to go up to that stitching line and then stop. And this is how the bag all gets combined, basically. So we're going to do each side separately. So we're going to lay this down flat, get in here, meet up with that 1/4 of an inch, and then sew across. Okay, and then we're just going to do the lining the same way. We're going to get this up to the 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing with the bottom. I just have to make sure my pocket is not in the way for this process. It's so much nicer with the, with the lining because it's so much skinnier or thinner. here comes the fun part. We have to poke our little things out. So this is very hard to do. Can't even get in there to get them out. If you get your thumb far enough in, you can kind of reverse poke like that, and then we can take our chopstick and get the rest of the way out. And we're there, folks. Okay, so all we need to do now is put the rings on. So I'm just gonna go down this amount on both ends, sew these down, and then we'll sew our handles on, and that'll be the game. And then this one, so if I hold them up, yeah, they line up really good. It's so cute. I will forget all the swearing by the time we finish this video. And yeah, on these sides, I'm probably gonna take the clips and just clip, clip, clip all the way along here in the bottom to get this shape correct. Oh yeah, this took 8 hours to make. This is why I don't sell these. I'll have to look up what price I did it at last time, but I think this was one of the more pricey bags. My #1 fan bought the one last year, so thank you very much for that. That's the only reason that show was really profitable for me. So here we have our bag. I mean, it's super cute and trendy. It's very much, you know, a Southern California kind of purse. But, yeah, it's just takes a lot of time. This is why I make decisions that I make around what bags that I'm gonna make to sell is really based on things like this. Like the amount of time this took me, the cork, the fabric, the foam, the everything, plus the hardware. It's just not really a bag I can afford to make. Plus, it's just not that fun to make. This one is a challenge, and I remember why I hadn't made them since then. So I'm glad I took the other one out of the mix. I was originally going to do 2 bags this week with the same pattern, and then decided I didn't want to do that because as I was looking at the pattern, I was remembering why I haven't made one since. So even though this pattern got, what did we give this pattern? We gave this pattern a B. I gave the modified pattern a B+, but I don't think so. It's not a B+ as far as easy to make. So I think this one needs to be more of a B-, and I don't think I will be making these to sell. So if you want this one, now would be the time to get it. Anything I don't sell at the craft fair, I will put in the web shop. So we will see what happens with this one, whether it sells or not. Okay, so I'll show you this one when we get to the outro, just because it's kind of hard to see it right now. So I'll leave these on here overnight and then take them off. It just kind of gives definition to things that you can't press with an iron. So, looks kind of funky now, but you'll see when we come back, it'll be good. friends, that's it for this week. Thanks for coming along with me and having some fun, especially at the Queen Mary. That was a lot of fun. I'm really glad my sister invited me. It's a group called, what's it called? It's a group called the Art Deco Society of Los Angeles. If you are in the Los Angeles area or interested, it was really nice. It kind of felt like we were at a time travel event because some people were dressed 1930s, but you also had 40s and 50s and even some 60s. So it was really interesting. I wish I had an outfit, which brings up, I watch these YouTubers that do history bounding, and they make like historical garments, or they style things historically and have a historical wardrobe for different occasions, and they go to parties like that and everything. So maybe that's something we can do next year, is try and make a 30s or a 40s outfit for me. I've been looking at different outfits, especially last night, and looking at what they were wearing, what body types looked good, and what type of styles. So I'm interested in making something like that. I do have a pair of pajamas. I have a pattern and fabric for that we need to make, a pair of cotton pajamas. I haven't been brave enough yet. So maybe we can start that next year or the last week of this year. Who knows? So let's take a look at our bag. We've got this beauty. So this is the Clydebank Tote. This is the small. Look how big that is. So it's pretty big, even with the small. So we did our recessed zipper, which, because of the way she had us sew it down, it's kind of popping up a lot. So even though I ironed it down, so I'm not happy with that. I wish it was sewn down a little farther, but she pretty much has us sew it there because that's the widest part of the bag. So I feel like if this was shorter, we wouldn't have had to do all that fiddly work with it. So that's one of the reasons why this pattern is not going in the product line. Okay, so let me put it on my shoulder so you can see what it looks like. It's just really big, very, very big. So it's a nice big size. I like this idea as well. I like the shape of it. I just don't like making it. So that's the only problem with that. Okay, and I think by the time you're watching this, or the week after, will be the last craft fair. So we will be able to regroup. We've got those Piggies to work on, and yeah. So just moving forward with things for Christmas, hoping to have everything that wasn't sold at the craft fairs and the new Piggies in the shop in time for you to order for Christmas presents. So I'll announce that when that happens. We also have to make our 500th giveaway bag. So very excited about that. Thank you guys so much. It's just such a milestone to get to 500, and it really just it pushes me to keep making content and making videos, which I've really been enjoying these past 2 years. So thank you to everybody who subscribes or watches the videos. It's been quite a journey so far, and I've really enjoyed every moment of it. So as usual, I hope you have a wonderful week ahead, and I hope to see you back here next week where we will make the bag and do the giveaway. So very excited about that. See you next week, folks. Love you. Bye.